Hubsan Zino Mini Pro, brand new update. Got that coming up next. Bill the Drone Reviewer here. If you like the content of this video or anything on my channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. With that, let's begin. The other night I hosted Rotor Talk Live and I was joined by Mr. Marcus Crawford and Mr. Ron Brown. We spent the better part of the evening discussing the Hubsan Zino Mini Pro and Marcus's first-hand experience with it. So without any further ado, let's roll that clip in its entirety. This is what everybody's been waiting for, okay? Marcus is our Zino Mini Pro resident expert here, okay? He has it in hand, he's flown it, and let's get into it. First of all, I know you had, and everybody's probably seen the video, your cable issue, Marcus. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, so I was clear out there at the Snake River Canyon, and I've had cable issues with Hubsan drones before, so I probably, should have been prepared and had an aftermarket cable with me. I didn't, but anyway, I got out there. I got the drone off the ground for just a few minutes, got a disconnection. It auto landed in the dirt, which was, really fun. But it was just a struggle getting the darn thing into the air. Just had one problem after another. So I got home. I was pretty discouraged. I got home and I got one of my aftermarket cables that I think I used on the Zino 2, one of those. Anyway, hooked it up, and man, it popped it up and it worked fine. I had a decent connection. I just went to the schoolyard next door, but that wasn't the end of the issues with the drone. I guess, I thought it really, actually, I thought it flew pretty good. I have some quibbles with the controller feel, but really probably the most stable Hubsan drone that I've ever flown. I mean, it hovered really well and had no complaints with it moving around or anything like that. One of the first things I tested was the obstacle avoidance. It just didn't work well for me. I messed around with it a little bit, and honestly, just didn't trust it. While I was doing that, and it was about 82 degrees that day. It wasn't terribly hot, but the darn thing overheated. It shut down obstacle avoidance. It shut down video recording. So I shot it straight up and flew it a little bit and to cool it off, and so I could start recording again. Tested out the zoom on it. They had just done the firmware update to make the digital zoom work. It's got 6 times digital zoom. The problem with the zoom was what you see on your FPV screen and what you get off of the internal memory are two different things. It kind of moved, I think it was to the left as you zoomed in. So it's not like you could zoom in on a point of interest. So Ali Shanmao noticed that too. And I know he's got an in with some of the Hubsan engineers. And so he's talking to him about that. Then I guess I also I'm very disappointed in the video. If you look at the video quality, as soon as I take off there, the sky is all blown out. And I was flying it in automatic. That's all they had available at that time. There's if you look, I look at I've got a 32-inch curved monitor. I could see a lot of shaking in the video, micro shakes I call them, a little bit of jello. Just a disappointment. I landed the drone then, on low battery. Brought it in, and of course it's got this cover on the bottom, and they make no bones about that. That is for heat. They don't want you to burn yourself with the drone, and boy, they're not kidding. I mean, I picked it up, and you could not touch the bottom of this drone. It was blistering hot, and I'm sure if I'd have kept my finger on it, I would have got some burns. I mean, it was that hot. So, and like I said, it overheated on me just while I was hovering and flying it around close to the ground. So
Wow.
I don't,
Well, welcome, Ron.
Hello, gentlemen, and everybody in the chats tonight. Thanks for having me on here. I hear you got a good discussion going on on the Hubsan Zino Mini Pro there. I just wanted to ask Marcus a question. What heats up faster, the Zino Mini Pro or your iPhone dimming? What happens first?
Yeah. Let me finish what I was talking about first, Ron, and then I'll answer that.
Just a joke. Sorry to disrupt the show.
Yeah. No, that's okay. So it was with regard to the kind of two different issues there, but I'll take the dimming of the phone any day because at least you have control of your drone at that point. But where was I at? I guess
you were talking about it being so hot you couldn't touch on the bottom after a flight.
Yeah. So a drone guy is saying first or second week of November to fix it, then you'll have something better to fly. Well, let's hope. I don't know what they're going to do, but they better do something. The other point that I wanted to make was the fact that I paid for this drone on May 7th. 3.5 months later, I get the drone. What were they doing for 3.5 months? Listen, I paid $589 for this drone, and of course I got 2 batteries and a case and 128 gigabyte internal memory and so forth. Well, that is significantly more than I paid for my Mavic 2 Fly More combo. So I paid more for this than the equivalent DJI drone, and they had my money for 3.5 months. My expectation when I got this thing was to have a drone like we get from DJI, a drone that actually works, that does what it says it's going to do, that flies and gets good video. We didn't get that from Hubsan, and it's just no good. It's not good. It's not how you treat your consumers.
We were talking about that, Marcus. I know you were in on a discussion, and Ron and I had this too, that, we wanted, we wanted this to be out of the box with maybe a firmware update because, with DJI, there's almost always a firmware update.
There could be little things. Absolutely.
Right, little things.
Yep.
But to do what it said, what Hubsan has been touting that this drone is going to do, and to do it without any having to go through any conniptions or any kind of voodoo or anything like that, out of the box, and it sounds to me, like one of the only things, it was stable. Okay. Now that's something for a Hubsan drone out of the box, because I know you had, especially with Zino 2, Marcus, you had your, going up and down and all that kind of stuff.
Marcus had one like to dance a whole lot.
Yeah, it was dancing on, and this seems stable, but everything else, okay, the obstacle avoidance, the heating issue on it, the camera on it, it's like, okay, are we Fimi Mini 2.0 here? Kind of a thing, because my Fimi Mini is long gone, and I wish whoever bought it all the best of the luck in the world with it, because that's just a problematic drone.
Oh, you sold your Fimi Mini, Bill?
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
I had no regrets, 0 regrets.
Bill, you're the smartest man on this show.
Can I give you some news? Can I give you some news on this guy as well?
What's that?
It's all fixed now. It's all sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows now. It's
in my dreams.
I hope that's the news Marcus is going to deliver.
Yeah, Ronnie boy, keep dreaming, brother. Keep dreaming. So Fimi got a hold of me, and they said, hey, they sent me some firmware for it, and they said, try this. We think that might help your problem. I did. I had this guy out at the canyon again yesterday, and if anything, the gimbal was worse than ever, just all over the place. So I reported back to Fimi, and they said, you know what? They said, just send it back to us, and we'll send you another one. So, they'll at least get. I'm going to send it back to them, and they'll look at it. What we can say is, we know there's some people that have got some good ones. I think Johnny Drone Flyer, he says his works okay. I've seen Al Duran. I've seen video off of his that looks pretty decent from what we can see. However, I know more people that have had bad ones. You, Ron, our friend John Coopy. I've had 3 of them. So it's this there again. At least this one was priced reasonably, and I ordered it and had it within a couple of weeks after I ordered it. But yeah, anyway.
But I'm gonna keep quoting John Coopy here. It was priced at $319 for his people beginning, but I'd have rather paid $100 more and got a drone that worked. So
totally with you there.
That pricing meant nothing to me because I got a drone that essentially, you talk about the Hubsan not doing what it's supposed to do. The Fimi doesn't even get off the ground decently or whatever. For me, anyways, my thing. Hey, I don't know if you guys addressed this yet, but a bigger issue to Marcus's semi review here of the Hubsan Zino Mini Pro. When we were watching the videos, and I won't even name any names, when we were watching the first couple of videos come out of Asia with people who got the drone and were doing videos, they're both 2 guys. I don't want to throw anybody's names under the bus. These 2 guys report a lot less issues than Marcus was. Did we think that they were kind of, not telling the whole tale, Bill? Do you think?
Yeah, I think they were holding back
out. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm overstepping.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Because, if anything, okay, I'm going to say this, okay? The 3 of us, we don't have any, what I will call allegiance to Hubsan, okay? We like their semi, I'll use the word quotes, like their products, okay? And we enjoy testing them and everything. But, as on, and I know you and I know Marcus, okay? And you know what? Marcus is not going to sugarcoat anything, okay? He's going to say it like it is, all right?
Bill, can I amend that for a second?
Go ahead.
Here's what I try and do is I just try and just show what my actual experience is, right? Just what it is. That's it.
No agenda. Just
it speaks for itself. In other words, it speaks for itself. And here's my $60,000 question to you, Marcus, and I'd like to get your thoughts on this as well, too, Ron. Are the issues that you experienced with the Zino Mini Pro, will a firmware update take care of them?
Yeah, listen,
not just one firmware update.
Yeah,
series. Yeah. I mean, no, I'm not joking. I mean, this is going to take like the Zino 1. It's going to take a series of firmware updates coming out over months because anybody they're gonna fix things, break other things, so it's going to take several rounds.
Ron, it doesn't even have all the features activated yet. So they need firmware updates just to make it all those features that they advertised be live on the drone, right?
Yeah. I know a lot of people are excited about the features, and that's why they got the drone. But they need to before they worry about any more features, they just need to have everything that's operational now be 100%.
That it flies and the camera works. So to answer your question, Bill, and Ron and I both went through this with the original Hubsan Zino. When you first saw the camera on that drone, you would have said, there's nothing they can do about this. But you know what? They gradually refined it. And I'm not saying that the camera was anywhere near DJI quality, but it was pretty good. And can they improve this thing? I don't know. What I worry about the most is you'll see in the video that I'm working on the edit right now. I had it out over the canyon. And it was fairly windy, and you'll see a lot of shakes in that video, and you'll see a lot of jello. So is that something that can be fixed with firmware, or is it something that's endemic to the hardware on the gimbal? I can't tell you. I don't know.
Wow. What are your thoughts, Ron?
Yeah, I mean, my thoughts are only watching Marcus's videos and the guys that have it in Asia, and it's definitely possible that the gimbal issues can be fixed through firmware. I mean, we can't like Marcus said, we can't say whether it's mechanical or software, but there's 50-50 chance that it could be fixed through a software. I mean, the Zino 1 gimbal got better as we moved along through the firmware updates. And when Marcus is referring to the Zino 1, it had a focus issue. It focused on what was up close to it, and blur was in the background, kind of the opposite of what you would want or whatever. And they easily fixed that. And from watching Marcus's video and watching the guys from Asia, this doesn't seem like it has the crazy lens flare issue that the Zino 2 had, which was uncorrectable. So I'm going to say a lot of the stuff in the camera, could be corrected also.
I sure hope so, Ron.
I think the biggest concern is Marcus wisely points to, is the overheating issue. That's the thing.
That is
the hardest thing to correct. Somebody in the chat mentioned, well, turn the bit rate down to you decrease the heat on it. And yeah, that may be a good hack workaround for sure. But I mean, you bought a drone because it had 200 bit, and now you have to set it down to like 60 bit. Do you get a refund for flying at a lower bit rate?
Hey, Bill, Stephen Ewing's got a great comment up there. He's saying, okay, but it's pretty good enough for the cost. And I'll answer that, Stephen. I don't think so, because, a lot of people purchase this drone. Well, you saw all the hullabaloo. You don't get the attention of people like Rick Smith and Young 360 and Sean over at Air Photography. They're all
Aldrin
Estacio is interested in it as well. They're interested in it because the promises that Hubsan made of the quality of that big sensor in the camera and all that. Let me tell you, this little mini SE right here has got twice the camera as that Hubsan drone. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, and we keep comparing this drone to the DJI Mini 2, whatever. But really, now this isn't in reality, but in the spec sheet, when you look at the spec sheet, it compares more favorably to the Air 2 series than the Mini.
It should, because
if you just go in that spec sheet.
You're absolutely right, Ron. In fact, I really think the camera, just the pure camera quality as it sits, and we all know that this Fimi camera has its problems with vignetting, etc. But I'm saying the quality of the camera that I saw on this is better than what I've seen on that Zino Mini.
Now, I got a question for you, Marcus, and it's about the obstacle avoidance, okay? And this is just, and I know they've kind of touted it, and they said, this is the first drone, 249 grams with obstacle avoidance, okay, and all this, okay. And I know, and I saw your video, okay, and my question is this, and I don't know the answer. Couldn't find anything on this, but the obstacle avoidance, is it just to warn you, or should it stop the drone?
No, it brakes. In fact, there's a slider in there that you turn on, and it will actually brake. And what Hubsan has promised is that eventually it'll have what DJI calls APAS. It'll actually move around.
Okay.
That's not available yet.
Sean mentions that in his videos.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I should say that, we heard that from Alishan Mao. So
okay.
But the reality was, it was not reliable. And I've got a theory that I think that obstacle avoidance was using so much processing power that's what overheated the drone and caused some of those issues.
Okay.
Just a theory.
You're probably right. I mean, they probably have stuffed a lot inside such a little frame there. Okay. That's probably one of the issues. The other one is, and Ron and I had talked about this, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, about, having enough ports to cool that drone off. Okay. And I know we've talked about this and we broached that subject before. You gotta be forward thinking with something like this. You gotta know in terms of, from an engineering standpoint, and that's why I'm trying to get Rick Smith on, and I'm trying to hopefully get him on next week. But from an engineering standpoint, they wanted the kitchen sink. Okay. They got the kitchen sink, but you know what? They forgot the faucet. Okay. They forgot a way of being able to cool things off with this. You know?
And it makes me wonder, because I'm looking at the drone now, Bill. If you look, if you compare with either, I'll pick up the Fimi here in a second. They all have vent. This has those two vents in the front. I don't see any vents on the front of the Hubsan drone, And if you look on top of this guy, look, you got that big vent on top, so that it's getting flow through airflow.
Well, Marcus, a lot of our armchair engineers turn the drone around backwards and show the large openings in the arms, the front arms. See the large, the other way. Yeah, see those large, yeah, now you can see it, Marcus. Those large openings at the back of the arms, they're much larger than on DJI drones, and they were thinking that's a possible release point for heat.
The large, oh, you're talking about this.
Okay, yeah, but the front arms, look where the front arm connects to the body. The other way around, towards you. See, it's a big hole there, much bigger than on the DJI drones.
Yeah, you're right, Ron.
You see what I mean, Bill?
Yeah, you're right about that.
But the thing is, it's not really a hole. I mean, that's
Could
not
air
really
get through there?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Then they're wrong. That's so armchair speculation that was a heat release point.
Yeah. I mean, Bill, you can put that full screen for a second if the audience wants to see it. But
is that black we see in there? Is that rubber?
Yeah, no, that's the wire going into the
wire. Okay.
Yeah, I think Bill's gonna.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Bill. I didn't mean
to. Put the 3 dots on Marcus's window.
Hey.
That didn't work.
You're looking good though.
Yeah, well, that's better.
Yeah, that's good enough. They can see it there. Yeah. So anyway, I don't see where air's going to get out of there. Anyway.
Okay. Well, it could be, maybe you could poke some holes in there, Marcus, and get some airflow going through there.
Now, one of the things I wanted to let you guys know about, I've been communicating with my contact at Hubsan US, and I haven't heard back from him in over a week. So I emailed him again today, and it's been crickets. Okay. And it's been crickets ever since. Now, here's something else. And I don't know if you guys can answer this question or not. I posted it in the group today. I'm just curious as to how many people I know there's plenty of people up in Canada that have it. But in terms of, besides Marcus, I really don't know anybody in the United States.
Greg Pittman.
Greg Pittman got
his the same thing Marcus did.
Yeah.
Okay. Because Hubsan US has been silent. I mean, it's been silent for over a week. But one of the interesting things that I looked at on Hubsan US's site is they have accessories to be able to purchase. Of course, it's all grayed out, but they have extra batteries. They have that battery butlers, they call it. They have a case. They have props. I mean, they have every kind of accessory you want, but it's all grayed out. It's just kind of funny how all of a sudden that communication flow has just stopped. It's just ceased. Now, last he told me, okay, he said the drone would be shipped sometime this week. That's the last thing that he said.
Well, the other thing that's worth mentioning with regard to Hubsan too is their customer service, and I intend to look into that. Now, I will say, Ali Shanmao got a hold of me and asked me to send him the flight logs from the drone, and that he was going to then send them to the Hubsan engineers. So I did that. So I'm anxious to see if they come up with anything. But if not, I'm going to give it a few updates. And if it's still as problematic as it's been, I'm going to test out the Hubsan customer service and their support, and we'll just see how it is, right? I mean,
with that.
Yeah, when I first got my Mini 2, I had an issue, and DJI, they sent me a prepaid label. I sent it back to them. I had it back to me in about a week and a half, right?
That's the same experience you'll expect to see from Hubsan, huh?
Well, for the price I paid, why shouldn't I expect that?
Exactly.
Right?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And, Marcus brought up a real good point. He got his on May 8th. I bought mine on May 18th. Ron, when did you get yours?
Well, I ordered, if the 7th was the day Marcus ordered, I ordered that same day, but they didn't take the money from PayPal until the 10th.
Okay.
But I don't know why, because Marcus ordered for me would be the AM hours of the 7th, and I ordered in my AM hours. I got up that morning and ordered like at 7 a.m. My time, whatever. So I ordered hours behind Marcus, but I don't know why those couple hours made my PayPal thing I don't know. I can't explain the process, but I know that my PayPal now says the money was taken on the 10th.
Yeah, mine's
Hey,
the
and real quickly here, Bill. At this point, if it takes any longer, I just want to write and say, just roll me over for the Hubsan Zino Mini 2,
yeah, yeah,
which will be out in about 6 months.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
you know, Ron, you could be touching on something. You know, the first generation of this product. I'm going to tell you this: when I checked that first battery that I used, you know how you can look in the battery section in the app. It already had 3 cycles on it, and it was a brand new drone, right? Or supposedly a brand new drone. Could this have been one that they used for testing? I mean, how did that battery get 3 cycles on it, right?
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah.
So
I mean, let's say they test a lot using the factory. They just turned it on for a second. I wonder if Greg Pittman's arrived in the same condition you are. Because if Greg wouldn't have got it, I would have said, well, yours, they just sent you one because of your channel, whatever. You didn't get a regular consumer copy. But since Greg Pittman got it the same day,
yeah,
that kind of throws a monkey wrench in my theory.
I can answer a little bit of that question, and there was another channel that showed the same thing. Greg's is having a problem with his. He's got a blue tint in his video, and he was asking me about it, and I said, "Man, Greg, I got no clue." And I saw that one of the other reviewers, I don't know where, Indonesia or somewhere, I'm not sure where he was at, he had the same issue. So, yeah, I don't know.
Blue tint.
Well,
I do like the color blue, so if it's going to be a tint, might as well be tinted to a color that I like.
We were all, and Ron and I kind of talked about this a little bit last week, Marcus. It's like, we were brushing some things aside, okay? The disastrous live show that Hubsan had, it was just a total disaster, okay? And it's like, okay, you know what? That's fine. They probably, they don't have the staff and the PR people and all that, and that's okay. All right. And we kind of pushed that aside and said, you know what, let's kind of give them the benefit of the doubt. The Zino has improved. So, maybe they did hit something here. Okay. Now, I did watch that video from, a couple of friends over in Ali Shah and the other gentleman, and I did watch some of that.
World Explorer and L3 Toys has one flight video out.
Right. And it seemed like it was hopeful, from some of these videos that I watched. But hearing watching Marcus's video and hearing him and hearing about what happened with Greg Pittman here, it's kind of like, here we are again, kind of a thing. And Marcus is right. The other thing was, for what we paid for this drone, okay, and I'm going to say it, and I know we had already talked about this, out of the box with maybe a firmware update, it should be good to go. There shouldn't be any questions.
I get one more thing that I should add here. So I get an email this morning from Banggood. Now, I didn't buy this from Banggood. I bought it directly from Hubsan. But I got an email from the people at Banggood asking me if I would take my video down and they would put me directly in touch with Hubsan. So, of course, I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to take my video down. But I just thought that was a little bit of an interesting development. Was that just Banggood, wanting to make sure they could still sell Hubsan Minis, or was it Hubsan speaking through Banggood? I have no idea.
Yeah, the plot thickens here,
Yeah.
Whatever. And again,
I politely declined.
Thank you, Marcus. And again, back to Marcus's we'll say honest review to compare it to, and I don't throw any of these channels under the bus, but World Explorer did a video where he did a range test with the Zino Mini Pro, and he said it got further out and it had better signal connection than the Mini 2 did.
Ron,
of course, he did a night flight and he probably flew to 1,000 feet in the air, but
Ron, let me tell you this without spoiling my next video. I think my original Hubsan Zino will fly farther than my Hubsan Mini. That'll help you any.
Yeah. So I said we're I'm all the stuff we got encouraged about out of Asia. Now I've kind of got to backtrack off of all that or whatever, and take it all with a grain of salt now.
Now, and I'm going to throw this out there, and this is just, I'm just, just the wheels are turning a little bit here. Do you think that they could have gotten a updated version of the Zino Mini Pro?
Yeah, or could I just have a bad one?
Yeah. I mean, it's back to the same thing with all these toy companies. Marcus could have got the Friday drone. Alisham could have got the one they made on Tuesday or whatever. The only way you can really tell is the way Marcus knew that the Fimi Mini's no good. He has 3 of them, so he struck out. He struck out.
I'm working on number 4, Ron.
Yeah. So he get the 4. He probably won't get a walk with that. He'll get a 4 strikeout. So the only way you could really, if he had 3 Hubsan Zino Mini Pros and they all stunk in about the same way, then it's a strikeout there too, or whatever. I mean, hopefully it doesn't get to that point. Hopefully the next firmware update, cures a couple problems and on and on and on. I mean, I'm not telling anybody out there to totally give up on the Mini Pro yet or whatever.
No.
But I mean, we could tell, this is no secret. He'll say it tomorrow night on his show, Johnny Drone Flyer. We both were in contact with Johnny Drone Flyer after Marcus's initial flight. Marcus told him about the flight. He consoled me. Johnny's already canceled his order, and he got his money that he paid with PayPal. So PayPal's already put the money back in his account, and I'll go out there. I'm real close to doing the same thing. I mean, I'm like, Marcus always has that hitting the buy button or whatever. I'm real close to hitting the unbuy button. I mean, I'm real close, Bill. I'm on the razor's edge on this.
Well, and Marcus and I were kind of talking about this a little bit before we started here. I'm on the, I felt a little bit on the bubble as well too, but I think I'm going to go through with this because I want to carry this through, and I want to see, and I kind of want to see this here, and give it a fair shake and give it a shot because, we've talked about it quite a bit on the show, and, I know the Mini 3 is going to be coming up in November and all that, and, that'll definitely be on the radar, but, for now, I want to give this a shot, and I want to see if Hubsan can follow through here.
I appreciate that, Bill, because you know what? I would love to see, hey, could it just be my drone, right? Maybe you'll get one that everything will work beautifully, and that'll be great. And then I'll just bug Hubsan for an exchange or something, right?
Yeah. Or Bill Big as DJI Mini 3 before he ever receives his Hubsan Zino Mini.
That's entirely possible as well. I mean, it's entirely possible.
Hell, maybe the Mini 4 even.
Yeah, or you know what? Or Hubsan will have the their Mini SE out before the Pro ships. Okay.
Yeah. Well, have we got any updates on the Hubsan Zino Mini SE?
I haven't seen it.
I looked at their website.
Can you actually buy it yet on their website? Is it viable?
So Ron, I can tell you for a while they had it as a pre-order. So now on both the Mini Pro and the Mini SE on Hubsan's website, they're both grayed out. You can't buy either one. That kind of tells me that they know there's something wrong with it.
Could that mean there's a problem to not shipping out orders now because they want to fix them before they ship them out? I mean, it's commendable if they do that, but it's commendable, but it's not commendable if they don't tell us.
Yeah, Ray Kelly brought up what would the price of the Mini 3 be? That's just that pure speculation at this point, Ray. We don't know what's going to be on there. We can kind of guess what's going to be on there. You kind of know that Frank Wang is going to say, you know what?
Frank Wang grabbed the spreadsheet for the Zino Mini Pro and told the engineers, boys, I want to see all this.
Here's your blueprint. Let's get back. Let's set the bar a little higher here. Okay. To have, and here's the thing. All right. Again, and I think we kind of talked about it with the Fimi Mini. Okay. How Fimi rushed this, and had they waited and done it right, it could have been a completely different drone. And I think we're looking at I hope I'm wrong, but I think we're kind of looking at the same thing here with Hubsan. I think they probably, they want to jump on the Mini bandwagon, get it out there. DJI's done so well. we're gonna do something that's gonna be different than everybody. But oops, you know,
Hey,
hopefully I'm wrong.
What's the answer to Ray's question? Even though we're totally guessing on the specs, give Ray a ballpark, Bill. On
you see, here's what I'm gonna say. You know, and people are gonna kind of like go. I'm gonna say maybe $599. Okay, because you're gonna have obstacle avoidance on that. You know, you might broach subject of a different kind of camera on there. You might get zoom capability on that camera. You know, Frank will be known. There'll be some curveballs in there, like as Marcus is fond of saying. You know, DJI will give us something we didn't think we needed, but we will need it once we see it.
We don't need sticker shock though, Bill.
Yeah, well, yeah, we don't need sticker shock, but see, for $599, all right, they can probably get something like they can probably get that kind of a price for the feature set that they'll offer on that.
Right, you know? And still keep the SE around for people who really want to fly a bargain drone.
Absolutely, and the Mini 2 will still be available. You know, you'll be able to buy that somewhere, and you know, and that's an incredible drone in and of its own self. So
well, I'm going to give Ray better news. Ray, I'm looking more $499.
Okay.
Marcus, do you have a?
Yeah, I'm going to guess, and I do. I just have a little premonition that I might have seen in the chat. Might have. $549 for the base unit.
All right, I got no problems with that. So, Marcus, any closing thoughts for tonight?
Yeah, listen. Here's what I'm going to say. You know, there's I've had some struggles with this guy, but you know, I guess it's what I'm going to say is it's one thing for me because I have a channel that I review drones and that's kind of what I do. So that's okay. Who I really feel bad for is the average consumer that buys this and thinks that they're going to get all those features that work great, and they're not. They're just not. And they'd be way better off spending a lot less money and buying a drone like this Mini SE that everything actually works on it. Will it have tracking and 4K and you know, waypoints and all that? No. But you know what? It'll work and you'll get great video. And why buy a camera drone? I mean, that's what you're looking for, right?
Yeah, so, that makes a whole lot of sense.
And basically, let's give the straight scoop, Marcus. If they want all the bells and whistles that the Hubsan Zino Mini promises or whatever, just pony up an extra $400 to get yourself a DJI Air 2S series.
Air 2S.
You don't have to worry about any of this.
Yeah.
You'll have every bell and whistle except waypoints, and you won't need another drone.
Question of the day. What do you think of the brand new update regarding the Hubsan Zino Mini Pro? Let me know in the comments section below. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, it's a great day to fly.